The Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, his presence calm, his gaze steady, as disciples gathered in the evening shade. In this life, the Buddha began. Nothing stays the same. Change flows like a river, constant, inevitable, and freeing. A farmer, weathered and tired, approached the Buddha, his hands clasped, his heart burdened by life's hardships and uncertainties. "I lost my crops," the farmer said. "The storm took everything. How can I find solace in this impermanence?" The Buddha smiled gently, his voice resonant with understanding. As he pointed to the stars glistening in the night sky, "Impermanence is like the stars," he explained. "They shine brightly, then fade, teaching us to cherish their fleeting brilliance." He gestured toward the river, its waters shimmering in moonlight, its currents weaving patterns both beautiful and transient. The river flows, unceasing, never clinging to its banks. It teaches us to move forward, embracing the inevitable changes. He owned nothing, yet his heart overflowed with contentment. One disciple, curious about detachment, asked Buddha, "Master, if we relinquish wealth, how do we provide for our families and honor our responsibilities?" Buddha replied, "Detachment is not abandonment. It blooms in muddy waters but remains pure, untouched by the chaos surrounding it." The farmer nodded slowly, tears glistening as he began to grasp the beauty hidden within life's impermanent and unpredictable nature. "In your loss," the Buddha said softly, "find the seeds of renewal, plant them with wisdom, and watch your life bloom anew." He told the story of a sculptor, old and frail, who once transformed the ruins of broken statues into breathtaking art. His hands trembled, the Buddha narrated, but his spirit embraced impermanence, creating beauty from destruction, meaning from emptiness. Ravi asked, "Master, how can we practice detachment when society measures worth through material success and possessions?" Buddha explained, "Success is fleeting, like the bloom of a flower. True worth lies in virtue, wisdom, and compassionate actions." A farmer named Keshav recounted how his crops had failed, leaving him devastated and fearful of a future without sustenance. Buddha said, "Keshav, every storm passes. Do not fear impermanence," he said. "Find its wisdom. Like the river, flow with change. Like the lotus, bloom in mud." The sun's rays filtered through the tree's branches, casting patterns of light and shadow on the gathered disciples. "To navigate the road is to navigate the mind," the Buddha said, balancing control and surrender with every decision. Detach from fear, not from life. Live fully, without the weight of anxiety. It nurtures growth, deepens awareness, and leads to peace by freeing us from clinging. Under the Bodhi tree, the Buddha remained, his wisdom echoing in the hearts of his disciples. Timeless and unfathomably profound. Buddha nodded in approval. "Generosity purifies the spirit, Ravi. It transforms wealth from a source of anxiety into a vessel of peace." Ananda looked at the Bodhi tree and said, "Master, its roots anchor it, yet its branches sway freely. Can we live with such balance?" Buddha affirmed, "Balance is the essence of life." Ananda, rooted in virtue, yet flexible with the winds of impermanence. Priya smiled, "Master, your teachings are like water nourishing a parched land. They guide us toward clarity and understanding." Buddha concluded, "Clarity arises from reflection." A woman, her face etched with lines of age and sorrow, approached the Buddha, her hands trembling yet reverent. "My children have left," she said softly. The disciples bowed in gratitude, their hearts lighter and minds clearer, resolved to walk the path of detachment and wisdom. Buddha gazed at the horizon and whispered, "The journey toward peace begins within." His voice was gentle, like a river flowing over smooth stones. "Loneliness is a shadow," he began. "It follows us when we forget the light of connection within and around us." The disciples leaned, forward. Their curiosity piqued as the Buddha gestured toward a small bird building its nest in the tree above. "This bird," he said, "toils not for itself alone. It gathers twigs and leaves, knowing its nest will host future generations. It awaits renewal, knowing seasons bring change." A disciple named Arun inquired, "Master, how do we cultivate patience when our immediate needs seem insurmountable and pressing?" Buddha shared, "Patience grows through mindfulness. It binds, sustains, and heals." He shared the story of an old potter who once crafted his vessels not for profit but for neighbors and travelers alike. His hands shaped clay into gifts, the Buddha recounted. Through his giving, he found his own emptiness filled with purpose. The disciples nodded, their hearts opening to the wisdom contained within the simple acts of kindness the Buddha described. In our later years, the Buddha continued, "We often feel isolated, but connection is always within reach, waiting to be kindled." He told of a monk who, after years in solitude, began teaching village children, finding joy in their laughter and learning. The monk realized, the Buddha said, that enlightenment was not in solitude but in the shared experiences of human lives intertwined. It blinds us to the treasures that reside within and around us. Priya, a young disciple, asked, "Master, how do we practice gratitude when emptiness engulfs our hearts and burdens our lives?" Buddha smiled softly and said, "Priya, gratitude begins with awareness. You are not alone," he said. "The strength of human connection surpasses distance, time, and sorrow. Its emptiness holds potential. It is not barren, but open to receive abundance." He added, "What we perceive as emptiness is an opportunity to fill it with virtue, compassion, and the treasures of the spirit." As the morning progressed, a merchant named Kartik joined the group, troubled by debts that overshadowed his thriving business. Kartik said, "Master, I fear that my success is overshadowed by obligations. I feel trapped despite having more than I need." Buddha responded, "Kartik, obligations need not be chains. They are opportunities to honor commitments and serve as a balance for desires." The disciples exchanged glances, their hearts unburdened, inspired to seek and nurture bonds that had perhaps been overlooked or forgotten. A child approached, bearing flowers for the Buddha, her innocent smile radiating the beauty of life's unspoken connections and gestures. The Buddha accepted the flowers, his face serene, his teachings reflected in the simple act of gratitude and love exchanged. The evening grew deeper, the sky painted in hues of amber and indigo. The circle of disciples warmed by shared understanding. Ananda asked, "Master, how do we ensure that the emptiness does not lead to despair but fuels hope and transformation?" Buddha replied, "By trusting impermanence. Ananda, no state, whether abundance or scarcity, is eternal." As the woman walked away, she carried with her a renewed sense of belonging, ready to weave her life anew. The Buddha, ever still under the Bodhi tree, radiated peace, his teachings like ripples spreading through the pond of humanity's consciousness. Nurture it with mindfulness, compassion, and effort, and it will grow into peace. Arun reflected aloud, "Master, I see now that the empty bowl can symbolize a heart ready to receive wisdom and understanding." A retired merchant approached, his steps slow, his face weary, carrying years of toil and the weight of unfulfilled longing. "Master," the merchant began, his voice breaking, "I have spent my life amassing wealth, yet I feel empty inside." Maya bowed and said, "Master, I will fill my bowl with gratitude for the support of others and my own resilience." Buddha observed, "Gratitude is the alchemy of life." Maya, the disciples gathered closer, sensing the profound wisdom about to unfold. Their breaths quiet, their eyes fixed on their master. Once the Buddha began, There was a prince who abandoned his kingdom to seek the treasures hidden within his own soul. Buddha closed his eyes briefly and said, "Empty spaces are beginnings. Fill them wisely, for what you plant within grows and defines your journey." The disciples nodded, their hearts resonating with the metaphor of the ocean, carrying its waves as the soul carries thoughts. Stillness, the Buddha said, is not the absence of waves but the acceptance of their rhythm, the understanding of their impermanence. The merchant wiped his eyes. His years of striving and grasping reflected now in the ceaseless movements of the waves. Described. In retirement, the Buddha said, we have the opportunity to cultivate inner peace, to still the storms that have shaken us. Ananda approached with reverence and asked, Master, how do we accept the inevitability of aging without fear and resistance? Buddha replied, Ananda, aging is like the flow of a river. Each moment passes, yet it nourishes and shapes the landscape. Release attachments. Learn from the stillness that resides in your soul. Strength wanes, but inner peace remains steadfast, he added. The river does not lament its journey to the sea. It knows its essence flows onward, unchanged. An elder named Heron approached Buddha, his voice trembling. Master, my body weakens, and my mind falters. We release the past, the future, and all their heavy chains. He instructed them to close their eyes, to focus on their breath, to feel the life flowing effortlessly within and around them. Listen to your breath, the Buddha said softly. It is the bridge between body and mind, the river flowing within you. The merchant, following these words, felt his mind quieting, his heart softening. As years of tension began to dissolve like mist, inner peace, the Buddha said, is the true freedom. It is not in escaping the world but in accepting its infinite nature. The disciples sat in stillness, their awareness expanding, their hearts touched by the simplicity and profundity of the Buddha's guidance. When you wake each morning, the Buddha said, greet the day with gratitude. Find joy in the simplest moments life offers. The merchant bowed, his spirit lighter, his mind clearer, his path illuminated by the wisdom gained beneath the sacred Bodhi tree. The Buddha remained calm, his presence a reminder of the serenity every being seeks, the peace within each soul's reach. Yet, I struggle with the regrets of choices made in youth, Buddha responded. Heron, regrets are like shadows. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.